Barbecued ribs. Everybody loves them, but few people want to make them because they think they're difficult to make or they don't have a barbecue. I'm Sugar and you're watching Cooking with Sugar TV. And today I'm going to show you how to make barbecued ribs in the oven. It's super simple with a yummy dry rub and some barbecue sauce. They're absolutely delicious. Where am I saying again? The ingredients you'll need for this recipe are baby back ribs and a dry rub, along with some barbecue sauce. To make my dry rub, I use salt, onion powder, garlic powder, cumin, smoked paprika, some chili powder, a little cayenne, and a little chipotle, brown sugar and regular sugar, and that makes this beautiful rub. So I have my baby back ribs here. I took them out of the package, gave them a little rinse and towel dry them with a paper towel. And I have them on a cookie sheet, a rimmed cookie sheet with some heavy duty foil. If you don't have nonstick foil, you can just give it a little spray with some cooking spray. But before you do the dry rub, we're gonna remove this membrane that's on the back of the ribs. And it's really simple, and if you don't remove it, it makes them kind of chewy. So I'm just gonna show you how to do that. You're gonna take a butter knife and you're gonna go and try to get underneath the membrane here. Just kind of pull that up. It's difficult to just get it started, but once you do, then you can get your fingers under here for it to come off. So I just grab a paper towel, rip that off. And see, this makes it so chewy. If you're eating these, you want this off. And then we're gonna get this side. It's a little messy, but it's worth it. And see, once you get that off, then the marinade and the dry rub and everything can get in there. So as I mentioned in the ingredients, I put all of those spices into my dry rub, but you could also use a dry rub that you like. You know, you buy it at the store, maybe you don't have all these ingredients at home and you just wanna use one dry rub. And what we're gonna do first is we're gonna start with the ribs up, like this. We're gonna salt them. And I don't put the salt in my rub because I like to salt it where I can see how much salt is actually going on the meat. When I dilute it in the rub, then I can't always see that. So this way I can actually visualize how much salt I'm putting. I'm gonna flip it over, do some more salt here. And this is just kosher salt, sea salt, whatever you like. Okay, so we got that covered. Now I'm gonna start with my dry rub on the back of the ribs. And then I'm gonna flip them over and do the other side. And you're just gonna give them a good massage, pressing that rub into the meat. And I wanna save enough for the back side. Okay, then I'm gonna flip them over, and they're gonna actually bake in the oven with the rib side up like this. So you wanna have meat side down, rib side up. And this is really how simple this is. Once these are coated, you cover it with foil, it goes in the oven, and then after it cooks for about 2 hours, you know, depending on the size of your rack, you're gonna just baste them with your favorite barbecue sauce. Put them back in the oven for a few minutes, turn them over, baste them, and that's gonna be it. Now I'm gonna cover them with tin foil. So I'm gonna seal them up, and I'm baking them in a 300-degree oven. And these are gonna bake for about 2 hours. Now I already have a rack of ribs that I put in this morning that are in the oven, so we're gonna pull those out in a minute. So the ribs I put in earlier this morning have been in there for about 2 hours. So I'm gonna take them out, I'm gonna drain the liquid off, and then we're gonna baste them a little bit with the barbecue sauce, put them back in the oven, flip them, baste them one more time, maybe 2 more times, back in the oven, and they're gonna be gorgeous. Now you want to be careful when you take them out of the oven because there's going to be a decent amount of liquid in there, so you don't want to burn yourself. Be careful when you take the foil off, because it's hot. Oh, look at how beautiful those look. See that? They look amazing. Now I'm gonna drain off this juice. Some people save it and use it to make barbecue sauce with, but I'm gonna just use regular barbecue sauce. Okay, so now we're gonna baste. I'm just gonna put my barbecue sauce on here. I'm gonna baste this side and flip it over, and then baste the other side. And you can use a pastry brush or a barbecue brush, or sometimes I even just rub it with a paper towel. Okay, so that's coated. Now let's flip it, and just be careful when you do this, because sometimes the meat is very tender and it can fall apart. But these are perfect. Now I'm just coating them lightly with a coating of barbecue sauce. And this is gonna go back in the oven for like 5 or 10 minutes, just till this kind of adheres to the meat. So this is going back in uncovered. I'm going to take them out of the oven and probably baste them 1 or 2 more times, and then the last time I'm going to put them under the broiler just to brown them. So you may want to check them with a knife just to make sure that they're tender enough, because if they aren't, every oven's different, you might want to leave them in longer and maybe even cover them up for a few more minutes. Okay, these are looking great. And you can see that sauce is starting to stick to the meat, and this rack is beautiful. Gonna give it some more sauce. And I don't like to overcook them because I don't want them to completely just fall apart. You want the meat to fall off the bone, but not be falling apart when you pick them up. At least that's how I like them. You know, it is a personal preference. So I'm gonna check these and just see how we're doing here. Let me find a spot where I can get through the bone. All right, they feel pretty tender, but I'm gonna put them back in the oven probably for about 10 more minutes. And I think they'll be perfect then. Okay, one more time, I'm gonna baste them and put them under the broiler, and just a little bit here. So this has enough barbecue sauce, I think. But I just wanna crisp them up under the broiler a little bit. And you wanna make sure you watch them under the broiler so that they don't burn. Now they are way too hot to touch, so I'm gonna let them sit and chill, and then we're gonna slice them up, and we're gonna plate them, and we're gonna try them. The ribs have cooled a little bit, so I think I can touch them. Yeah, this pan is okay to touch. So I'm gonna put them on my cutting board. Be careful here. I don't wanna lose them and then fall apart. There we go. So now I'm gonna cut them, but I think I'm gonna cut them in half. Oh yeah, these are gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful. Let me cut some more here. We'll cut this in half. And if you like them, you know, completely falling off the bone, then what you can do is just let them cook longer. But like I said, I want the meat to be tender, but I still want to be able to handle the rib. So you can see how soft that is. Can you see that in this camera? So these are gonna just, the meat is just gonna separate right from the bone. You see that? So soft and tender. It's still a little hot, but let me taste the meat. I just want to see the flavor of it. Oh my gosh, so tender. So delicious. It's still a little too hot to touch, but they're juicy and tender and so tasty. let me get one here. You see that? So soft. They are still hot. But, yum. You see how that meat just comes away from the bone like that? But it still stays on the bone? That's how I love it. Finger licking good. Delicious. I'm going to actually clean up and plate some of these so that you can see how pretty they look. I want to photograph them. I should put the barbecue sauce like that, maybe. Yeah, that looks good. So you see how simple that was to make and how beautiful and delicious they are. For more recipes like this, be sure to log on to my site at cookingwithsugar.com. Follow me on Instagram, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and be sure to share me with your friends. Don't you want to taste them? They are like so amazing. Look at this. Nothing but bone. That's what you want. That's what you're looking for. Right there. Look, you don't need to put them on the barbecue. I mean, you could, but you don't have to. Okay, I want to take a picture. John, you want to come and taste?
Over there.
This side? Oh God. It's a messy thing. They're really good. You see this? This is what I'm going for. Where the meat comes off like that, but it still has texture. It's not mushy, it's flavorful. Is that rambling too much about like, oh no, I didn't even talk about the membrane. I can't use that. Is that stupid? I'm just like rambling on about meat.
No.
How do you like your meat? Delicious. And if you want, you can why do I say too many things? I say too.
Don't do that.
Okay.
All right, so.
I'll do it, I got it.
And if you want to add another one, we can just cut it out.
I ramble, I always ramble.
Okay, start over because you tripped on the one word anyway. So.